Yo, what's up, Broncos country? How's it going tonight, guys? So, me and Mohamed are back this week. We didn't get a chance to go live last week because we just were really busy with the draft and everything and our lives, of course. But we're back this week to talk about, the Broncos' overall draft grade, all their picks, go through each pick individually, and some other news that came out over this past week we'd like to get into. So, Mohamed, the first thing I want to touch on tonight is the news of Justin Simmons retiring as a Bronco. He signed a 1 day contract to retire as a Bronco and retired this past week. What were your initial thoughts on this when you saw this?
Honestly, Eddie, I know he didn't play much. Like I guess last season, he kept bouncing from one team to another after he left the Broncos. There were some talks about him coming back, and I just didn't see that was coming. I'm actually kind of shocked. I'm sad. I still think he's a good safety. I still think he could play. I'm surprised he decided to, just hang it, say, I guess he wasn't like getting a lot of interest. I'm very happy that he actually came back home and signed a 1 year, well, I mean, sorry, 1 day deal to retire as a Bronco. Come on, just Simmons, just, he's accomplished a lot for the Broncos within that period. He's been in the year in the league for about 10 years. He's like a cornerstone for the Broncos. Around that time when we were struggling and all that period, Eddie, his leadership on the field, off the field, he does a lot for the community, him and his family. He's a Broncos legend, man. I mean, just a fearless tackler. Patrick Mahomes could tell you about that, right? Um, it's sad that he's retiring, but he'll always be a Bronco, man, forever a Bronco. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I think I saw the news. What was it, Wednesday? I think I saw, or I think our producer Graham put it up, and I was like, "Are you serious? Is that true?" And like for me, I always have to go and just double check on like Twitter. Like I have to at least see more than one thing before I say, "Oh yeah, it's real." And dude, it was just all over Twitter. I believe it was Wednesday, and I was just like, "Damn, man, that really sucks." I'm happy he came back and signed a 1 year deal. I did it too, a 1 day deal
Mhm.
to retire a Bronco. Um, but yeah, we released him after the 23 season. Because we had to. It sucked. Like if we didn't have the Russell Wilson issue at that time, like cutting the Russell Wilson all the dead cap money, Justin Simmons probably would have stayed in Denver. I had no doubt he would have stayed in Denver if it wasn't for the Russell Wilson dead money. So 2024, he goes to the Atlanta Falcons, signs a 1 year deal with them, plays with them, and then after that, the Falcons let him go. They let him walk. They didn't re-sign him or nothing, and he didn't play at all in 2025. And from my understanding, from what I heard after reading into this, is that he literally had no offers, and he was just like, I guess I'm not going to just sit here and you know whatever. I'm not just going to sit here and be like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm just going to retire. I'm just going to sign a 1 day deal with the Broncos and retire a Bronco. Now, if a team comes calling and offers him some decent money, he might play again. I don't know. I think, what is he now, Muhammad? What is he, like 33, 34?
Yeah, somewhere around
He,
there.
he's
He's
in,
not
I
that
think he's
old.
in his 30s. Um, 32, 33, says Graham. All right. But I mean, Kareem Jackson played like what until he was 35, 36. So I mean, if he gets someone calls him and offers him maybe like a 1 year, $10 million deal or something, he might go back out and play another year. I don't know. Clayton in here says, hey guys, what's up, Clayton? Thank you for
Hey,
joining us
Clint.
today, man. He says, smash the like button and share. Heck yes. And then
Thank you.
going to Denver Broncos for life.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but as far as that, like Justin Simmons is like a few years younger than Von Miller. Like, and Von Miller's still sitting out there. Like, I didn't he play for the Bills last year? Miller, or was it? No, it was the Commanders. I'm sorry.
Commanders, yeah.
He played for the Commanders, and he got released, and now he's still sitting out there. He hasn't retired yet. Because dang well, if Von Miller retires tomorrow, he's going to sign a 1 day deal with the Broncos and retire a Bronco. Michael Ronquillo in here. Good evening. Ed Muhammad, Go Broncos. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks,
He's
Michael.
been a he's been a big support of ours for the last couple of years. We really
Yes,
appreciate
he
you,
is.
Michael. He also says hi, Graham. Michael does. Thank you, Michael. But it sucks, man. Like I wasn't really surprised by this. I kind of figured something like this was going to happen. Von Miller, same thing. Like if I mean, I don't know if he's going to retire this year, but if it goes through a whole season and he doesn't get signed by nobody this year, I can see maybe next offseason Von Miller retires. I mean, Von Miller's what, 36, 37? He's up there.
Yeah.
He's old. So, but yeah, it sucked, man. It really sucked to see, And the one thing I'm going to say, and everybody in Broncos country knows it, the one thing I'm going to miss about Justin Simmons, watching him be Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. He has the most interceptions against Patrick Mahomes. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Justin Simmons, for your service to Denver, and you will
Thank you.
always be a Bronco. Next next thing I want to move into is now a lot of people were freaking out about this because this is some more news that popped up over the week, and a lot of people are kind of worried about it, freaking out, even though it was said that this is part of the whole thing with him. But Bo Nix had another cleanup surgery on his ankle over this last, I think, week or two. He had another cleanup surgery. And a lot of people, Broncos country, people outside of Broncos country, the media wise, are pretty much worried about this or freaking out about this. What are your thoughts, Mohamed? I'll get to mine, but what are yours?
I mean, honestly, Eddie, I know we talked about it before we went live, but I mean, I'm still one of those people. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't like the Broncos did not share that this was gonna happen. Apparently, this was something that was supposed to happen, or people knew about it. I didn't when it came out. It did make me nervous because see, it takes you back to that whole thing, Eddie, with Sean Payton after that game against the Bills, when he came out and he said that he was telling us about the injury and then saying it happened in high school and it happened in college. And then Bonix had an issue with it. He's like, I don't want this to be out. I mean, is it true? Like, has this been happening in the past? Is it gonna happen again? Because like I said, Eddie, this is the Broncos. Bonix is the Broncos. Like, if God forbid something happened to him, our season is going to be very shaky, especially since we don't have a backup quarterback. I'm not saying that this is going to linger or it's going to affect him, but now, Eddie, I don't want Bonix to be running around the field. I'm going to be worried about it. Maybe it's just me, but the fact that they didn't sign a backup quarterback, a decent one that can win us some games, kind of make me nervous too. Who knows? Nobody can predict what's going to happen. I mean, any player could get injured at any time, but at least I would think the Broncos should be prepared with a decent backup quarterback just in case something happen. He can win us a few games. But that's what I had to say about it. Go ahead.
I'm going to throw a name out there for a backup QB that I know that can win games, and he's already been a Bronco once. Joe Flacco. I would bring Joe Flacco in to be the backup because what we've seen him do with the Bengals last year and the Browns, like I
I
think with
think
this team
somebody
around,
signed him though, Eddie. That's my
I
guy,
think he
but
went back. I think he went back to the Bengals as their backup or the Browns. I can't remember who, but like he's a solid backup to have. Like if Bo Nix were to go down again, I would trust Joe Flacco with this team. But with that said, my whole point on this Bo Nix thing, I'm not worried about it, and the reason why is because his 2 years in the league, like both seasons, like he's been running, either whether if it was a QB design run or if he just had to run because the line broke down, whatever. Um, he was able to run, and he's smart. Did we just lose? Oh, there he is.
I'm still here.
Um, but he's very smart. When he runs, he either gets out of bounds or he gets down. He doesn't take hits when he runs with the ball, which is a good thing. This whole ankle thing this past year was a freaking nature. It happened on basically a kneel down, is what it was, is what they were saying. It was on that kneel down, or some people were saying it was because he did the one QB run and, went down, but he barely got touched on that QB run. To me, like he really got more hit whenever he did the kneel. He kind of moved over to position the ball. So, but to me, I just think now If you're gonna have Bo Nix run, don't do it as much. And um, I know Bo Nix running on his own because the offensive line breaks down. We know Bo Nix can read a defense. We know Bo Nix can find the open receiver. But sometimes, hopefully, with Jalen Waddle, this changes. Before Jalen Waddle, these receivers were just not getting open. Bo Nix be looking, he be scanning, no one's open. He's just like, okay, I gotta take off and run. The offensive line's breaking down. He's got that alarm in the back of his head, like, I need to go. No one's open. I gotta go. Um, so hopefully that changes this year with Jalen Waddle to where Bo Nix don't have to run as much and he can just deliver the football. But I know he has, had the ankle injury in the past. That news came out over the last like 6 months or whatever, and even though Bo Nix is really upset about it, which he should have been, that's private information that nobody needs to know. Um, Now, but since that came out, it's like, okay, Sean, no more QB design runs with him. If he's got to run because the line breaks down, fine. But hopefully with Jalen Wild, it doesn't happen. Bo Nix just needs to sit back in the pocket and deliver the ball. He needs to be a pocket passer. Like, I don't want him running and something happens and screws up that ankle again. So, but his injury this past year was a freak accident. I don't think it would normal. It's been in the league 2 years, and he's always doing QB runs. He's running when the offensive line breaks down. Never had an issue. It was just when he actually got hit on a run, or not even really a run. I mean, maybe it was the run, or maybe it was a QB, like sneak where he just tried to position the ball. But no more for Bo Nix of running down the field and getting hit. Like Bo Nix is smart, like I said, he'll run and he'll either run out of bounds or he'll slide before someone even gets near him. But all it takes is that one time for someone to come up behind him he doesn't see, and it could be disastrous. But I'm not really worried because the team's not really worried. So, um, Graham says I think it was a QB design run. It might have been. I don't know. Like there was a lot of speculation on which play it was. Was it the one where they had Bo Nix roll out to the left and run up the field? Was it that one, or was it the one where he was trying to center the ball on? I think it was like right hash to line up Will Lutz for the field goal or left hash or whatever. So I'm not sure. Like, well, we might never know which play it actually was he got hurt on, but both of those plays he got hit as he was going to the ground, and that's what caused it. Normally, when Bo Nix has a QB run, he'll see the guys coming, he'll just slide like 5 yards before anybody gets near him. So, but hopefully that changes. Hopefully, we don't have nothing to worry about. The team still says he'll be ready for OTAs. He'll be ready for voluntary workouts. He'll be ready for everything. So we'll just have to wait over these next couple of months, which, by the way, the Broncos minicamp doesn't start until June this year. Usually it's in May this month. But since they made it so deep into the playoffs this past year, Sean's giving them until June until they have to come back and start doing mandatory minicamp. So he's got another month to sit at home and heal. And they say he should be ready for the start of that. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. The next thing up, Mohamed, that we need to talk about tonight is Broncos overall draft grade. Now we're going to go over and give our takes. I mean, we can we'll give each pick their own draft grade and then give the Broncos team an overall draft grade. And then we'll talk about each pick individually, about their strengths, their weaknesses, what they bring to the team, everything. So, excuse me if I get this wrong, because I don't know if I will say his name right, but defensive tackle Tyler Odidem, I think his name is. I think I said that wrong.
I hear people here pronounce it differently, Eddie. Like, I don't even know. Let's just call him Tyler.
Yeah, I'll just call him Tyler. Like
Yeah.
I hate doing that and butchering somebody's last name because people do it to me all the time and it bothers me. ODM. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, Mohamed, this addressed the Broncos' need in the draft, but what would you give this draft grade?
Well, Eddie, before I go into that, I just wanted to say that, like, with the Broncos, like where they were picking and the fact that we didn't have a first round pick or a third round pick, we had a second round and then we had to wait until the fourth. I expected the Broncos to have a lot of players that, more of like a developmental type, very raw. And I noticed that the Broncos just concentrated on athletic players and stuff. So I had that in mind. With this player right here, He's raw. He's massive. He's big guy. Definitely the value is there. I could see why the Broncos picked him. He could stop the run. I've seen that about him. Very strong frame. Um, he needs to learn how to rush the passer a little bit more, and I think that's where the coaches come in, you know. But definitely a good pickup for the Broncos. He'll fit right in. He's gonna learn from the other guys. He could be like a rotational type of guy, and hopefully he pans out. Now, I do trust George Payton, judging from the past. From him finding those guys late on later rounds, and like all these players that we have now. So, hopefully this is the case. Definitely a good pickup by the Broncos.
What would you give him draft grade wise?
I'll say maybe a B minus, Eddie. B minus, something like that.
Okay. Me personally, I know this feels a need, but some of his cons is he lacks pass rush moves. Like the one thing I think he gets by at is he does it with his speed. That's the one thing he does do good is he's a
Yeah.
good speed pass rusher, and that's good for a D tackle, I guess. But he needs like maybe more spin moves, more power moves, something of that nature. Be versatile. You know what I mean? Like that's what you need. I know it's a defensive tackle, but it's like you got to have something. Like you got to be able to maybe bull rush every now and then. It can't just always be speed.
Mhm.
Um, and I think a part of that, the reason why he lacks so much strength is because he lacks upper body strength. He doesn't really have a whole lot of that.
Mhm.
So he might need to get in the weight room and build some muscle in his upper body. That way he can have that bull rush type of move up the middle. Um, and honestly, he's just not consistent. Going through some of his college tape, you know, it's like one play he'll get to the quarterback. He'll just swipe the hands away. He'll just get right around the guy and boom, he's at the quarterback. Other times he just like it doesn't even look like he's really trying. It looks like he's just like, all right, I got to him last time. It's just kind of take it easy on this play, and he needs to really be more consistent. When you're out there on the field, I know defensive tackles they come off the field a lot. They rotate, especially here in Denver. We've seen it. They rotate those guys a lot.
They do. Yeah.
So maybe, if they do that with him, I think he's going to probably be more of a rotational piece at first. But maybe if he's not out there almost every snap, he might have that ability to be like, all right, I can build up my body and I can be maybe a little bit more consistent because I'm not going to be maybe as tired or just be like, I got to him last time, somebody else's turn. I'm just going to take it easy on this play. Maybe if he's out there, on a rotation, every time he's out there, maybe he'll put his best foot forward and get to the QB. As far as his pros, he's a great interior pass rusher. I did watch a lot of his highlights. I also watched some other tape, like I said, that, showed everything. Like whenever he wins, he wins. Like I see, dude, I can't tell how many times they'd be like hike. He would just literally just shove the center out of his way and just get to the quarterback. Like he was good at doing that, swatting the hands away and just getting to the QB, getting around the center or the guard. Um, let's see. He also makes really good plays in the backfield. Like he's good at stopping the run, which is
He
something the
is.
Broncos desperately, desperately need.
Absolutely. I think
Now,
that's his strength, Eddie. That's what he does. Like he could
and
do that.
and that's probably why you'll see this guy more on first and second down, like more
Mhm.
traditionally run downs, because he's better at stopping the run, which that's what the whole reason why we bought DJ Jones and Malcolm Roach is to help stop the run. And those guys are solid at it, but
Mhm.
they're not really like, I'm not saying this kid's going to be him, but like a Via Vea,
Okay.
someone that could just absolutely dominate in the run game. But he's good at it. It might take him a little bit. I think he is a bit of a project, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what else we got. Reps in college. He's great at reading plays too. Like he can tell when the play is going to be a pass play or a run play, and he plays accordingly. But like I said, he's just better in the run play. Like whenever it's a run and to the outside or something, man, he gets out there. he makes the tackle when he needs to, and that's the other thing. He's really good at securing the tackle. So overall, if I had to give this one a grade right now, I would say a C plus. I just I know a lot of people are probably going to hate that, but I want to see this kid do it in the NFL. This is what he was doing in college. He's got to clean up that upper body, strength. He's got to be more consistent. You know, when he's out on the field, he needs to be a little bit better in pass pro, and honestly, just put more moves into your arsenal. Speed, or I mean, speed he has, but bull rush, spin moves, something to help you to where you're not just constantly just going with speed. So hopefully he'll that'll change and or hopefully that'll get better, I should say. But I think as the start of the season comes along, he's going to probably be a first, second down guy. He's gonna be a rotational piece until he gets fully into the Broncos defensive line. We got one here from Patrick. He says, "What's the over under on primetime games this next season?" I'm not sure yet. The schedule should be coming out in like about a week and a half. I think the schedule comes out like the 11th to like the 15th, somewhere in there. The schedule comes out. I'm not sure. They already said what primetime games, but they usually don't do that until the schedule releases, so we won't know for another week and a half. If I had to guess right now, how many did they have last year, Mohamed? Um, like
I
four or
honestly
five.
don't remember.
I think they had
Somewhere
like
around
five.
there.
I think they had
Yeah,
five
somewhere around
primetime
there.
games last year, and with them going 14-3, I mean, they might be top of the NFL. Like the Patriots, the Seahawks, of course, the Rams, the Broncos. Like usually, the last four teams have a really, really a lot of primetime games the following season. So if I had to guess right now, I would say they're probably going to have about 6 or 7 primetime games this year. Because last year, I'm pretty sure they had like 5, if I remember off the top of my head correctly. I can't remember. Trying to think. The Cincinnati game was a primetime game. The Chiefs game in Kansas City was a primetime game. The Jets was considered a primetime game, I think, even though it was in London. It was early
Mm,
morning, but they consider those primetime.
that's the prime time, yeah.
I actually have a schedule on my refrigerator that tells me, but I'm trying to think. Washington was a primetime game. So that's what one. That's 4 right there. I just listed off 4 games, and I'm pretty sure there was another one in there. I just can't remember which one it was. But if I had to guess, I'd say about 6 to 7 primetime games. They'll probably have the most primetime games in the NFL. If not, they'll be one of the teams that have the most. Moving on to our next pick, Mohamed, running back, Jade Coleman. What
Jonah
would you
Coleman, Eddie.
or Jonah Coleman? I'm sorry, yeah, I'm bad with names.
It's okay. It's
Uh,
all right.
but what are your thoughts on him, and what's your draft grade for him?
You can see the smile, Eddie. I was actually very happy they picked up a running back, Eddie. And this guy right here, where they picked him, the value, oh my God. I mean, what can I say about him, Eddie? He's like, his running style is, very tough. Like he likes to run hard between the tackle. Like short yardage situation is definitely going to help us. He can pass protect. I think that's his specialty. He even actually said it, Eddie, when they had an interview with him. He's saying he's gonna protect, he's gonna help with the with the run game. I mean, with the passing game also. So that's what you need. That's what you want. Um what does it mean for the other running backs? I honestly don't know, Eddie. I don't know how they're gonna use him, but that's a very good um insurance policy, I guess, in case something happened with Jackie Dobbins again, right? I mean, I knew you didn't think we really needed a running back. I honestly wanted them to trade for one or sign one. They didn't. They decided to re-sign J.K. Dobbins. So by them doing this, it kind of makes me feel, at ease at least, that we actually have a running back just in case something happened. With all the running backs that we have a very solid running back room now, I think. What grade would I give him? I honestly really like the player, Eddie. B plus. maybe an even an A for John Coleman as far as like where they picked him, the type of player he is, and the value is just great.
Before I get into my take on this, we got another one here from Patrick. It says, "The more, the better. The Broncos feed is almost non-existent out of here. Aloha." Thank you, Patrick. Yeah.
Thanks.
Like compared to like it was in 2022, I think we had some of the most primetime games that year. And by like, I'd say, what was it, week 4, week 5, we're like, pull us off a prime time. We do not want to be on there. Because
Embarrassing. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, just get us off prime time. Don't have us there. But this year, I'm like, dude, give us the most primetime games because people want to watch the Broncos. I've talked to people. They want to watch the Broncos. They're excited about Bo Nix. They're excited about this defense. And now with the Jalen Waddle thing, it's like, dude, people want to watch this team play. They feel like, I think, what was it last year? The Broncos averaged like 24 or 25 points a game. Imagine what this team's going to do with Jalen Waddle back there and a three-headed monster in the backfield. So,
Yes.
yeah, give us all the primetime games. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. And Graham did say Broncos had 4 primetime games last year, so I was right. I knew it was close, so maybe 5, 6 primetime games. But honestly, with a team going 13-4, and honestly, if they had their quarterback, they make the Super Bowl, and I think they win it. They're probably going to get a lot. So, but on as far as Coleman, the running back, to me, I got all my notes here. His pros for this guy is he is a big back that runs like he will pick up the hard yards for you. Now, Dobbins
Mhm.
and Harvey, they're more. I thought Harvey was that kind of bruiser type of back. I mean, he's good. I mean, I love Harvey. I don't want him to go anywhere. But Harvey's not that big bruiser. He's the kind of guy that you know he can catch out of the backfield. He does run hard, but he's not really that type of bruiser. Like, hey, I'm going to run you over like a Derrick Henry. This is Coleman. That's what Coleman
Yeah.
is.
Exactly.
He'll really run people over, dude. He does not care.
Old
He does
school
not.
running back, Eddie. That's old
Yes,
school.
and he does not go down on first contact. He doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched like hours of highlights of his last week, dude, and he literally someone will come up, hit him, he'll be like, "What are you trying to do? Get off me!" And he'll just
Mhm.
keep going.
Yep.
So it kind of reminded me of. I know a lot of people might not like this, or maybe they do. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of Javonte Williams in college. Like he would literally hit somebody, and that person would just fly off of Javonte. He'd be like, "Get off me!" Until and Javonte was like that in the NFL until, of course, the devastating knee injury, and
Yeah.
then he really wasn't the same. And Joel Coleman, he looks like that same type of back. Like he will literally push people off of him on first contact. Let's see. He can always find the hole too, man. Like when you watch like some of these other running backs, you'll see them. They'll get up to the line and they'll just be like, "Oh crap, where do I go?" Or they don't hesitate. Like sometimes it's good to hesitate to wait for that hole to open up.
Patience.
Like
Yeah.
you know, some running back like Julian McLaughlin don't do that. He'll get up, he'll run, he won't stop and just hesitate for just a second, see if the hole opens up. He just runs straight into the back of his offensive lineman. I love Jaleel, but that's the way it is. Jonah, man, he can find the hole anywhere, dude. He's really good. And the big things to me with Jonah Coleman out of this is he can catch out of the backfield and get yards after catch. He will like it'll be like, and I mean I know what's his name? Who's our new OC? Davis Webb.
Davis Webb. Yeah.
I had a brain fart there for a minute. Sorry guys. Uh, Maybe we won't see as many running back screens this year. Maybe we will. I don't know. We don't know what Davis' playbook is it yet. But if like Sean Payton was still calling plays, this guy can catch a screen pass out of the backfield and he'll take it for like 6 or 7 yards. He'll make multiple guys miss or just plow through people. And he can catch and get yards after catch. And the biggest thing to me, something we really don't have. I mean, Harvey kind of does this. He's solid at it. But Coleman's like elite at it, and that's pass blocking. Like if someone's coming in the blitz and Coleman's in there, he will flatten a dude. There was like 3 or 4 plays I seen on his college tape where the pass rusher was just coming in freely at the quarterback. Coleman just stands there and just knocks the guy flat on his ass. Like that's the kind of running back we need back there. Like so, when if you got the Broncos in like a third and long situation or even a second and long, I guarantee you're probably going to see Coleman in there. On a whenever it's a passing down, you know they need to pick up the yards. You're probably going to see Coleman in there a lot because he can pass block. The guy will flatten anybody that comes near Bo Nix, and that's what I like to see. Um, as far as cons, it does take Coleman a bit, maybe like a drive, maybe two, to really get going. Like he's kind of like he takes a minute to get going. Once he does, he's fire, man. He's really really good. And the last thing is he's not really all that flexible. Like I said, he's a bruiser, but I'm not really worried about the flexible. He's not like a scat back. He's a power back.
Yeah,
So I'm not really worried about him being that flexible. I just something somebody said, and I was just kind of watching. I'm like, yeah, he's not really all that. He doesn't really have that. What's the word I'm looking for? He's not versatile, and like he's a scat back. I mean, like I said, Harvey, he's the kind of guy that can pick up some rough yards, but he can also kind of pass block. He's solid, but he's not great. Coleman, the only thing he does is, he'll catch out of the backfield, he'll blow a freaking person up, and but he's not speedy. But I'm not
yeah.
really worried about that. That's what you got Dobbins for. Dobbins, your speed guy. But overall, if I had to go right now, this is the Broncos, in my opinion, best draft pick of the draft. I give this a solid A minus for Jonah Coleman. So he's going to be a big factor to this offense. We got one here from Michael. He said, Ed Mohamed, which was your favorite pick? Coleman for me.
Yeah,
What
me
about you?
too. Same thing. I was excited about Jonah Coleman.
And it's weird because running backs, like a few years ago, they were like a dying breed in the
Mhm.
NFL. And ever since Saquon and Henry had those breakout years, it's like, okay, running backs are back now.
Hey,
It's
Eddie,
crazy.
I have a question for you before you move on to the next
What's
pick.
up?
Um, Now with the Broncos adding Jonah Coleman, how many running backs do you think we carry? Like, how many would we?
That's a hard question to decipher right
Yeah,
now or kind of choose because we don't really know what the Broncos like. They drafted two tight ends this year, too.
yeah, yeah.
We'll get
They
into it here
did.
in a minute. But, oh, man, I don't know, man. Because they really didn't lose anybody this year. The
Mm-mm.
only people they really lost were John Franklin Myers and who was the other one? Dre Greenlaw.
Yep.
They
Good.
literally brought everybody else back.
Yep.
Like no one else went anywhere. So man, it's gonna be hard. I don't know. I think they. I mean, I know last year it was kind of like they would, you know, it was like they would carry three, they carry four, they carry three, they carry four, and also a fullback's kind of like a running back, and I think Sean's probably going to carry a fullback again. They brought back Adam Prentice,
Hmm.
so I'm going to say three. I think this year's going to be a solid three. They brought in more players. They really didn't get rid of nobody except for John Franklin Myers and Dre Greenlaw. So that'd be my guess. I say three. Um, we got one here from who is this? Nestro Quake Broncos Rock. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. We got Nestro in here or Nesto again. Yeah, Nesto. Bleh. Uh, tuning in meanwhile watching hockey. You watching the Avs tonight? Or Nestor, sorry. Are you watching the Avs tonight? Because I, I I haven't really been paying much attention to them. I know the Nuggets got eliminated this past week. So
Yeah.
uh, Michael in here, he says running back Jonah Coleman is God, I got a tickle in my throat. Coleman too was my favorite pick because I followed his football career. Hey, I'm loving it, man. It's a good pick. Like I said, I think it's the Broncos' best pick of the draft. So, but next up, we got Cage Casey, tackle. Now, I'm going to get into my thoughts here, but what are your thoughts on this, Mohammed, on this pick?
I would say that again, Eddie. Like just the value, right? The value where you picking these players and what their grade is and where you're picking them. It makes a big difference. I mean, this guy is big. He's what 6'5", over 300 pounds. He's very versatile blocker, right? You could slide him. He could be a tackle. You could slide him to be a guard as well. So the versatility here is the key. Definitely a project. I'm not gonna say he's ready by any means, But definitely a good pick, Eddie. We do need that. Never know. If he's good at guard, Ben Powers, it's his last year, right, in the contract. I don't know. This is what it is, but really good player. I watched his tape. I like what I see, Eddie. With our coaches and stuff. Yeah, who knows, man? We might have a Pro Bowler in a few years, so we shall see. What grade would I give him? I would say a B plus, Eddie. Somewhere around there. Especially looking at where we got him, the value. Go ahead, Eddie.
My pros I got for this guy is he can play all over the line. Like he is very versatile. He can play at guard, tackle. I think even someone I heard say he could play center. So that's good. You get a versatile, tackle. What was it? What round was he in? The fourth, I believe.
Let me see.
The Broncos had two fourth round
Yeah,
picks, right?
yeah, fourth. Yeah, so it's because we had two fourth round picks, so it's fourth.
He's also very, very highly intelligent. He knows the game. His footwork is great, and he's great in the run game and can spot blitzes and defensive adjustments. Man, he has a lot of college experience, and the big key thing to me is he stays healthy. Like he doesn't really ever get hurt, which is good, especially on the offensive line, man. Like I mean, we saw it last year. We had two of our guys go down, one of which was out for a while, and that was like you were talking about him, Ben Powers. He was out for what was it, like 8 weeks last year? He was out for a while. And then I think you lost. Didn't you lose Miners or not Miners? I'm sorry. You lost Wattenberg there for a bit too. So, but the guy's really good in like reading the defense. Like he can decipher when a blitz is coming. He calls it out. He's like I say, he's good in the run game. He can watch when the defense adjusts. He can see what their adjustments are, and he calls that out. He's really good. Now, the cons to this guy is that he has limited athleticism. He's not very athletic, but honestly, for offensive line guys, unless you're like constantly doing screens, which is kind of scary for this offense because we know what Sean Payton likes to do. Like just block and let Bo Nix get the ball out. With Bo Nix is like, stuff we talked about earlier. It's like, I don't really want Bo Nix to be running no more. I want him to be past the ball. Like if he has to run because the line climb with that, I don't want to see no more design runs with Bo Nix's ankle the way it is. Yeah. And let's see. Honestly, and I heard this from one of the scouts, he would be better suited for guard is what they were saying in the NFL. In college, he was a solid tackle, but for the NFL, they think he would make a better guard, which might lead into what you were saying, Mohamed. This could be a Ben Powers replacement, because this is the last season. That entire offensive line, Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, Luke Wattenberg, Quinn Miners, Mike McGlinchey are all together. This is probably going to be the last season that's the case. So Ben Powers is probably the main one I could see going. And then after that, I would probably say Bowles because we just have to wait and see. Like, I think he's 34. He might retire. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. So, but if he's better.
Sorry, Eddie, before you go, did you see Garrett Bowles changing tires on?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that scared me, Eddie, because he's had his like legs under the vehicle. Did you see that? Yes, he couldn't. I was like, why are you doing that, dude? I don't want to see that. But I mean, he's just very kind.
He's a good Samaritan. He wanted to help somebody.
Yeah, no, he's very kind. I'm just saying, like the way he did it, kind of scared me a little.
And one of the other cons about Casey is that he has a tendency to overset in pass protection. Like it seems like he gets maybe a little too antsy whenever it's a pass play. It's like he comes up and he just kind of doesn't set properly, and maybe sometimes he can get beat on that. But I'm assuming that's from a tackle position. Like tackle position to me on the right and left side, don't matter, whichever tackle it is, those positions to me are a lot more – tackles are probably bigger to, have than guards are. I'm not saying guards aren't important, but if I had to guess, tackles are probably a more important position than guards because those are the guys. The tackles are the ones that – keep the pass rushers, the guys that are literally headhunting for the quarterback. Like guards and centers, they're usually there to keep the big guys in the middle of the line. Oh, yeah, of course they're trying to keep the quarterback upright, but those guys in the middle are also like, the guys that try to stop the run. Usually defensive tackles, and they're like, hey, we need to, stop the, guy from getting in here and stopping the run. Yeah, they pass rush, but normally whenever you see a quarterback get hit, who is it usually? It's usually an outside backer or a safety or a middle linebacker blitzing or something. So tackles to me are a more important position. So guard, maybe he won't do that as much overset, in the guard position, because he ain't got to worry about pass rushers coming off the edge as much. Unless they do something like, they pull or a guard like they sometimes do with Ben Powers. They'll pull him to move over. Most of the time it's in a run play. So we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, if I had to grade this pick right now, and I'm kind of right there with you, Mohamed. Like if they wind up transitioning him to guard to be a Ben Powers replacement, I would give this right now a B minus, because I think he can be good. He has more pros than cons at this point, but just the stuff that are his cons worked on in the NFL. They can. I mean, his athleticism, you can't really work on that. Maybe you can get thinner. Maybe you can get a little bit lighter, lose a little bit of weight, and you can probably become more athletic. But like his tendency to overstep in pass protection, that can be fixed with the right offensive line coach. And I think that will be in Denver. So, but next up, this is a big one. This is one that a lot of people this is one of their favorite picks of the draft. But before I get into that, we got one here from Michael Ronquillo. Coleman, 108, Casey, 111. Oh, their overall picks in the 4th round of the 2026 draft. Yeah. Okay, so they were both for. Yeah, I kind of figured. I knew Coleman was. I couldn't remember if Casey was a 5th. I don't know why I was thinking that. But the next one we got up is one that a lot of Bronco fans were very excited about, and this is probably honestly their favorite pick, and possibly an Evan Ingram replacement, and that is Justin Jolly, tight end. What are your thoughts on this and your letter grade, Mohamed?
I mean, Eddie, like we actually drafted a tight end. I mean, we did last season, but it was like the 7th round. Yeah. I never
Well,
actually
was
seen
a
him.
fifth. He was a
Hmm?
5th rounder.
Who?
Justin Jolly. I'm pretty sure he was a 5th rounder this
Oh
year.
yeah, Jolly's yeah. But the one from last season, I forgot his name honestly.
Loner.
Yeah, loner, basketball player. Jolie, very exciting, very intriguing prospect. You know, definitely got some receiving, upside. He can catch the ball. He's got the skills, like you said, Eddie, to be the joker for the Broncos. I like his size. Still raw, still got to learn some things, but like I said, Eddie, it's like the value for him, being picked where he was picked, he definitely dropped. So I think the Broncos getting him here was a really good pick for the Broncos. As far as his cons, Eddie, I mean, like I said, Eddie, he's still raw. Like he's still got a lot to learn. It's very exciting for the Broncos to pick him there. He definitely could replace Evan Ingram next season. I don't know. He got another year, right? Evan Ingram, 3 years
I think
deal.
he's at
So
2026, and after this, it's an option for the club
option.
if they want to keep
So
him.
I mean, if Jolly pans out, we'll see what happens. I'll give this pick B grade, Eddie, for the Broncos.
Well, what I got for the pros for this guy is he's a great receiving tight end, so that's a plus. Like
Mhm.
that's kind of what the Broncos have been needing and wanting, and that was the whole point with Evan Ingram. We brought him in last year to be that receiving threat. Now, you know my thoughts on this, Mohamed. I don't know whether if it was Bo Nix just wasn't looking for Evan Ingram or a tight end in general, and he was just always wanting to go to Franklin and Sutton, or if they just weren't getting him involved enough on the offense, like Sean Payton wasn't just getting him on the field enough. I don't know. But it was like we spent this money, we went out and got Evan Ingram, and we barely used him. And it was just kind of frustrating. He has a lot of experience in college. He's always on the field. He can get open for sure. Like he knows how to get open. He can catch anything. Like if that ball is within his vicinity, he will catch it. That's one of the better things I could say about this guy. Um, he's always fighting for extra yards, and he gets a lot of yak. He gets a lot of yards after catch, which is good. Something we need. If usually whenever he catches and he's going down, he falls forward. He does not fall backward. He fights for those yards. And Cons, he's a bit undersized. Now, when I say undersized, I don't mean height wise. I mean he's undersized like weight wise. Like for a tight end, like you see some tight ends out there, they look like receivers.
Hmm.
Other times you see tight ends, they're like big and bulky, kind of like Rob Gronkowski, you
Hmm.
know. So I feel like maybe he needs to put on a little bit more weight. I know like you want speed, but it's like, dude, you got enough speed on the perimeter. You got Marvin Mims, you got freaking Troy Franklin, you got Jalen Waddle now. You need a beefy tight end that, when he gets hit, he could take, he's not going to go down.
They sort of did that, Eddie. Kind of.
Excuse me. And the last con I have on him, or actually a couple more, um, he's not a great run blocker. He's not very good, like the run game. So if that's probably gonna be a telegraph for the Broncos offense is that if you don't see Justin Jolly out there, or if I'm sorry, if you do see Justin Jolly on the field, you're probably gonna be passed. If you don't see him, it's probably gonna be a run. I mean, they can work on that with him and make him a better run blocker, but usually that doesn't tend to work out too well. Usually, a tight end is either a great run blocker and not a great receiving threat, or he's a great receiving threat and a bad, not a great run blocker. So, with his pros already being he's great at catching the ball, getting yards after the catch, can catch anything. I think they're going to stick to that rather than him trying to be a run blocker. Um, uh, he kind of lacks speed a little bit. He's not as fast as some tight ends, but again, that could be just because maybe because he is undersized. And as far as his routes, like the one of the biggest cons I saw about this guy was listening to some of the people in the draft is that he telegraphs his routes. Like he kind of gives away where he's gonna go on his routes, which is, I mean, if you got hands for days, you can catch anything. Kind of like Cortland Sutton. Like the guy's draped on you, you'll still catch the damn thing. It don't matter. But that's not a good thing. Hopefully, that's something that can work out of him to where he doesn't have to fight really, really hard or have someone draped onto where he's kind of fight with them to get the ball. Just don't telegraph your routes that much and just get open. I mean, which he does do well, but sometimes he kind of tips off the defense about what he's going to do, and it kind of hurts him. So, but hopefully they clean that up this year. Next up, oh, sorry, if I had to give this a grade right now, I'm going to give it a solid B because I feel like this is going to be the tight end Evan Ingram's replacement, as long as he plays well. Because Troutman's your blocking tight end. They brought him back for a reason. He's going to be the blocking tight end. Next up, you got safety Miles Scott. Mohamed, what are your what have you heard on this guy, and what is your letter grade?
I mean, with this one, Eddie, honestly, that was a head scratcher for me. He's a safety. He more like leadership type of player. Nothing really jumped out for me. Maybe for special team, maybe that's where they picked him. But I wasn't really, honestly, high on this pick. Um, like I said, maybe it's like special teams. We got to look at where he was picked to, right? Was it on the fifth or sixth round, probably, where he was picked?
Uh, no,
Was it?
I think I want to say it was the seventh round because they had three seventh round picks this year.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they did trade a yeah, they did trade. I think. Okay, yeah. So like I said, man, I guess he's gonna play more a special team. He's gonna be a special teamer. Um, as far as a grade, I'll probably give it a D plus, Eddie. Like I said,
Okay.
I wasn't so big on it.
Well, his pros to me, he has a nose for the football. Like, uh, he sticks to receivers great. Like he knows where the ball is at all times. He is sticky to tight ends and receivers. Like he stays on them. Um, uh, he reacts quickly when the play changes. Like if the play breaks down, he reacts quickly. His ability to see and identify is really really good. One scout said he has the IQ of a single caller, like saying he has the IQ of a quarterback.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's what one scout said or one analyst said. But as far as his cons, he doesn't really have great footwork, which is kind of to me kind of contradictory. Like if he's good at changing reacts to plays quickly, sticks to his receivers, that would tell me his footwork is good. But maybe he's just. But I can't really say that it's his speed either, because another bad thing about him is he doesn't have great speed.
Yeah.
So maybe his intelligence, maybe he just like, hey, I know you're going to run this way, and my footwork ain't great, my speed ain't great, and I know maybe that's why they give him the IQ of a single caller, is because he knows where the receiver's going to go before the receiver does. So his basically they're saying his intelligence high, his
Yeah,
intelligence is
his
high.
gift is right here, Eddie. It's just not very athletic, I guess,
His
not
footwork
speed guy.
has some catching up to do, and so is his speed.
Yeah.
So, but if I had to give this a grade, I would say because he is a special teamer. I did read that he's mostly for special teams. I'll give this a C minus. Since we lost, didn't we lose somebody for special teams this year?
Mm,
Wasn't there one player that we had on our special teams that we lost? Not Mims, of course, but there was somebody. Maybe I'm wrong. I have to look it up. But next up, Mohamed, I want to get your thought, or I want to hear what you have to say about this, and get your letter grade. Dylan Bailey, tight end. What are your thoughts on this pick?
I mean, Eddie, like I actually like him. I like this tight end we picked right here. Definitely very raw, more of a project. The good thing about him, Eddie, he's a big guy. I don't know if you've seen his videos. Like he's very big. He's like type of a big tight end
Thank you, Grant.
type.
The special teamer we lost, sorry, Mohammed, is PJ
Go ahead.
Locke.
PJ Lock. Yep. Yep.
You
So
mentioned
maybe
that.
that's what it is, Eddie. That's probably what it is. But like going back to Bentley, he like I said, Eddie, he's a big guy, a big tight end. Like the old school type of tight end. Not sort of like a hybrid that we have now of tight ends that have receiving skills. I mean, he could turn out to be a really good player, Eddie. He's not there yet, but I think the thinking here is to bring him in and see what he can do. The coaches could work with him. Definitely, he's got that frame to work on. Big guy. Long term, he might turn into something. Like I said, if I would give Bentley a grade, I would give him like a C. Yeah, I'll give him a C. Hopefully, he turns out to be a good player for us.
Yeah. His pros are he's very physical. He always finds a hole in the zone, and he can catch anything. That's basically all of his pros is that he can, he can catch anything, and he can find the hole in zone coverage. But as far as his cons, lacks the ability to block and get open. Like he can find like if it's man to man, he's not going to get open. He won't, and he can't really block that great either. This guy to me he's another Caleb Loner. I think he's very, very tall. I think he was like 6'5", 6'6". That
Hmm.
was the main reason why Caleb Loner got drafted last year, because I think he was like
Yeah,
6'7", 6'8".
yeah, he's
Sean
pretty
Payton
tall.
loves some big, big tight ends. And, I mean, what happened to Loner last year? He sat on the practice squad. That's what this guy is. I think he's more of likely depth slash, just kind of be a practice squad guy. But probably going to see much out of him at all this year. Maybe a little bit, like if our tight end room gets severely injured and he's got to come out. But other than that, I don't really see any difference. If I had to pick for this one, I mean, because you already have Ingram, you got Adam Troutman, you got Caleb Loner, excuse me, you got Justin Jolly, and there's another one in there. Oh, you got Nate Atkins still on this team. And there's another one I'm missing. There's another tight end on this roster that I'm missing that I know I'm going to be mad at myself whenever I hear his name. But this pick to me just didn't make any sense. Like you already took a tight end and Justin Jolly, who's actually, I mean, he's better, of course, but why two tight ends? I don't understand that. I'm giving this one a D minus. Like I just don't understand this pick. I don't. You already had like 5 or 6 tight ends on the roster, and you took Justin Jolly a few picks ahead of him. Lucas Kroll, that's the other one. Thank you, Graham. So I don't get this pick. It makes no sense to me. So I mean, like I said, another Caleb Loner. Why would you draft another Caleb Loner to sell on the practice squad because he's tall when you already got that on the practice squad that you drafted last year? So I'm giving it a D minus, but we got another one here from Michael Ronquillo. Kenny liked the Broncos draft pick of wide receiver Justin Jolly. Oh yeah, tight end, yeah, but I get what you're saying. That's good. And the last one we got, Mohamed, the last draft pick we have was Mr. Irrelevant. We had the very last pick in the draft. I don't think I've ever seen that in my 30 years of being a Broncos,
Good.
diehard fan. I could be wrong. I could have probably maybe missed a year, but um, linebacker Red Murdoch. And I'll get to my letter grade and everything, but what are your thoughts and letter grade on this guy, our last pick in the draft?
Well, Eddie, before I get to that, like, I mean, you and I we were talking about like the draft in the past, Eddie. We sort of went to saying that the Broncos need to concentrate on defense, and you're saying maybe like they need to get a D tackle, the defensive end, on the first, like on the second round, and I was saying an inside linebacker more. The Broncos really pissed me off, Eddie, by them not worrying about this until the last pick. I mean, I'm gonna get to the player in a minute, but it's a weakness for me, and I keep emphasizing that inside linebacker is a weakness for the Broncos, and I'm afraid it's gonna come and bite us on our behind, you know, because they think what we have is enough. I disagree. As far as Red Murdoch, I mean, he's really good, Eddie. I'm very excited about him. Mr. Irrelevant. He could be a Pro Bowler one day, maybe. Who knows, right? Um, Definitely a standout player. Very versatile. I think he caused like 17 fumbles, Eddie, in his tenure with Buffalo. I guess 17 fumbles. He's gonna be wonderful for the Broncos with the right coaching and stuff. He could play some special team too. Maybe that's what they're gonna have him do in the beginning. Um, what grade would I give Eddie? This is the linebacker we got. He's really good where we got him. I gotta give this a B plus. Even an A. Honestly, we get our inside linebacker. Hopefully, like I said, he turns out to be a good player for us. But I still say, Eddie, the Broncos neglected the inside linebacker position. Go ahead, Eddie.
Well, before I get into Murdoch, I just got a few things to say about the inside linebacker position. The Broncos have a lot of guys. I know they're not the greatest. You got Singleton, who's like basically your number one. He's your quarterback of the defense. He's got the green dot on the back of his helmet. So Singleton, he's your main one. Then you got Justin Stranad, who you brought back, and Drew Sanders, who we didn't see at all last year. I don't know what their plan is for this guy. They moved him from outside to inside, and also, before I get to the other guys, they moved another outside linebacker to inside linebacker this year, and that was Jonah Ellis.
Yep,
I don't know
that's a
why.
head scratcher, Eddie.
Like, I mean, you still have, of course, Benito and Cooper. You're starting two on the outside. You have DeAndre Tillman that you brought back. You got Q Robinson, who you drafted last year, and who was the other one? Uh, Tillman, Robinson. Actually, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. And then you got a bunch of other young guys that are inside backers. Uh, Bailey, I believe, is out there. I'm trying to remember all. There was a few more, man. For the life of me, I can't remember all their names, but you got like I don't know, 5 or 6 inside linebackers. I mean, yeah, and a lot of them always sit on the practice squad. They're not really technically starters, but maybe this year they're going to give them a chance to be backups and see what they do. But as far as Red Murdoch, his pros are he does not miss tackles. He makes them. Like he's always He very rarely misses. He has a nose for the football, and he, like you pointed out earlier, Mommy, he forces fumbles. I can't tell you how many times I watched his game tape. Like every play, like almost every play, except I think there was like maybe 20 something plays in his highlights, and about 19 of them were fumbles. Like the guy has hands for the freaking ball. He sees it, he goes for the knockout, and he always gets it. It seems like. Um, let's see. He's a great run defender. He can stop the run, which is something the Broncos could really like. We need like that's what the defensive line for me is like the first pick that we had, Tyler. Like we need defensive linemen that can stop the run. We don't need our linebackers worrying about that. We need our linebackers to worry about tight ends. So I prefer a pass, a very good pass defending inside linebacker. That's what I want. But he's very good at run defense and he sheds blocks. Like he's really, really good at that. Like if they send him on a blitz, he's going to go out the block and get to your QB, man. He's great at blitzing. As far as his cons, he's not very athletic. He's slow, not great in pass coverage, as I talked about. He's not good at changing directions, and he's not a three down linebacker. He's not. He's like first, second down. If he's good at stopping the run, usually you're probably going to see him on first and second down. If he gets a chance to start second downs. And I agree with you, Mohamed. It kind of ticks me off. Like we've been needing, like Singleton and Stranad are both the same thing as him. They're both great in stopping the run, making tackles, and blitzing. We already got our two starting inside linebackers. That's what they do. We need a backer that can keep up with tight ends and possibly slot receivers, pass coverage, or running backs. That's what we need. And I'm so sick to death of the Broncos not addressing that position. Now, you would say last year they tried it with Dre Greenlaw. Oh, I'll give them that. But Dre Greenlaw wasn't really great in pass coverage either last year. Like, and also
he stayed injured.
He always hurt. Dre Greenlaw is an injury-prone player. I love the guy. He was good. He's tough, but he's always injured. That's the reason why the Broncos got rid of him. He missed more than half the season last year. No, what the Broncos need to do, like I'm going to say this. Next year, their first-round pick needs to be an inside backer that can play in pass coverage. That's what it needs to be. Because, Singleton's going to be, I think he's 32 or 33. Stranad's 30. You need, like, next year, main priority, if outside maybe offensive line, you need to address the inside linebacker position. You have to.
Eddie, somehow they believe that we can just like this scheme could help with as far as like, you know, eliminating the fact that we need that. Somehow scheme the teams, where it's not necessary. I disagree with it. I don't think this is going to help us. There's going to be situations where teams going to figure it. Oh, this is what you guys are doing. There you go, 30 yard, 40 yard. So I can see it happening. It's going to piss us off, but it's what it is, Eddie. We don't make those calls, I guess.
Greenlaw and Singleton were both getting burned last year in pass coverage. I don't even care if you just got one. Just go out and draft a linebacker that can play in the passing game, dude. We desperately need that. Singleton's too old. He tore his ACL less than 2 years ago. And Stranad's older, and he's not a pass guy. He is a run-first, blitz type of inside linebacker. So hopefully they address that next year. But as far as this pick, I'm going to give it, because with all the stuff I said, I'm going to give it a B-, because it is Mr. Irrelevant. I want to see him play, which honestly, I don't know if he's even going to play this year, Mohamed. He might be last on the depth chart, the inside backer, even though he's probably better than some of those other young guys that we have. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how training camp and OTAs and everything goes. But any final thoughts, Mohamed, before we get out of here tonight?
It's just exciting, Eddie. Like, after the draft, OTAs and many, camp, all these things are coming. It's kind of getting close. I'm excited. I can't wait for the season to start.
Same, man. I'm all excited, man. We got, what is it? This is May. We got about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, training camp will start at the end of July. So literally you have just less than 3 months until training camp starts. And then preseason starts in August. So you got about 3 months until preseason starts. And it'll be here before we know. I mean, come on. The season ended for us 3 months ago. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long. So
Nope.
preseason will be here before we know it, guys. So if you guys could like, comment, subscribe on this video. Also hit that bell notification so you know we go live. And that's it for us tonight, guys. We'll be back next week to talk to you about some more stuff. Like I said, the Broncos don't start mandatory minicamp or OTAs until June. So we just got to get through the month of May. Here within the next week or so, we should have the schedule released. So that should be really fun to do. But that's it for us tonight, guys.